So, welcome to the Process of Purpose podcast. Today, I have a guest. Today, I have Gus Vera. How we doing, brother?
Doing well. How about you, Robert?
Doing good, man.
Yeah.
I got from Options of Wall
So
Street.
right here representing the brand Options on Wall Street. We help over 1,000 traders, profit on a daily. I'm just excited to get on this podcast with Robert. It's like trying to integrate stocks and real estate.
Yeah, that's right,
we
man.
have stocks right here, real estate right here. Perfect mix. If you guys want to get into the money. So
yeah, that's right, brother. And talking about real estate, we're here at the Circa, right by Staples Center. I wish we could have the view behind us, man. I mean, it's beautiful, bro. So good stuff, man. Thank you for taking the time and coming on. Really, what I wanted to share today is talk about what you're doing with Options on Wall Street. So where can people find you?
So on Options on Wall Street, we started as, a brand that, a lot of people were inquiring me, I was like options trading and, I was taking advantage of the massive rally, massive rally on the ES, on the SPY. And, I really capitalized on that. I threw $2,500 into with no direction, had no mentors, really didn't know. And then, I grew that account to like, next thing I know, it was 100 grand, 200 grand. And all of a sudden it was $1 million. Like I never imagined myself making that much money in a short amount of time. And then, I created Options because on my Instagram, I would post, like my plays and stuff like that. And so, I created a free group chat and a lot of people started, inquiring, hey Gus, like I want to learn how to option trade. And then, a lot of like, my initial team, they started like, we literally built this from the ground up because a lot of my initial teams, they didn't have the skills as option traders, but now they're able to, analyze order flow. They're able to analyze technical analysis. They're able to see a lot of stuff that, big traditional hedge funds do. So, we initially follow the money while using our technical analysis. We usually read the tapes to be able to identify where buying pressure and where selling pressure is at to, help our members profit on the daily, which is a whole initial, initiative with starting the Options on Wall Street brand, which again, our whole purpose and incentive is to, educate a lot of people that, a lot of, especially right now, it's very easy for a lot of people to invest in the stock market because there's a lot of platforms. And what people don't understand right now, there's a battle. There's actually a legit battle going on, which, the retail investors versus the institutional investors. So what retail investors is people like us, right? That, uses apps like Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Webull, E-Trade, any of these platforms that, it, eases us to get into these stocks. But then the institutional investors are, battling with us. Then they're trying, essentially trying to prove who's going to win, right? Yeah. And so, as us traders that we understand how the market moves, we capitalize on that because there's something called short squeezes, right?
Okay.
So when you're either in a long or in a short position, there's usually, there's people that have to cover their positions if they're in the losing end. Okay. So what a cover position means is that they have to buy the stocks or they have to sell it, essentially bringing up the volume. So when you bring up the volume on a position, that's where we come in and, capitalize on those rips, those squeezes to, profit anywhere from $100 to $1,000 easy, quick, in minutes.
To the moon, baby.
To the moon. Yeah. Essentially, that's what the Options on Wall Street brand is all about. And not only that, we're community driven. We all know each other. We could log in the morning. We all crack jokes on there. We all, at TG, one of our, our funny members that, we all do all these. It's just community and I love it. Yeah. I love logging in the morning and, sometimes like, you can't win them all, right? Yeah, and a lot of the members understand that. Like, we can't, if I could call the top and I could call the bottom on any position, I'd be a billionaire by now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But because I can't, we just use all of our knowledge that, we inclined that from, trial and error that, it was a process. Like there's a lot of sweat. Like, during the pandemic, I was down about $200,000. Like I
200,000.
Yeah, 200,000. I was like, I was crying in my head. I was telling my brother, I couldn't sleep at night. Like, bro, my whole body's hot. Like I just lost $200,000, bro.
I'm hot right now, bro. Just thinking about
exactly. Like, I couldn't even sleep. I was like, my whole body was hot, man. Bro. Like, what do we do? And essentially, I still remember that position. It was SPY puts 417, 420. And for those of you guys who've been in Options on Wall Street since then, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But essentially, it was a learning experience, and from that we learned it. We kind of I wanted to learn more about trading, right? Yeah. So at that time, I invested into a mentor. Mentor was a 60-year-old hedge fund manager. He charged me about $10,000 for my mentorship, and essentially he showed me how to read the tape. He showed me some more in-depth positions, right? Yep. And at the time, I was creating the Options on Wall Street Mastery course, and at the time, I was getting guidance from my mentor, and another time with my childhood friend Quincy. So essentially, I was integrating my knowledge, creating the Options on Wall Street platform, learning from my mentor, who was teaching me traditional what hedge funds use on a daily, while learning with Quincy to how to leverage futures and be able to hedge that with all my bets, or I wouldn't even say bets, with all my positions.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it was just a learning experience. I was able to integrate what Quincy taught me, so to integrate, you know, what I've learned from my, you know, personal experiences, and I was able to integrate what my mentor taught me. And again, that's why I emphasize, you know, having a mentor is very important, because again, it's not what your network looks like, so what your network looks like.
That's right.
And I'm very big on that.
Wait,
because
say that again, bro. That
so
was good.
it's not what your net worth is, right? Like it's what your network is. Absolutely. Because again, if you guys create a network that, you know, all helps each other, trust me, you guys all, you know, collectively, you know, join your experiences and you guys all grow. So, you know, for personal experience, my first mentee class, right? This was, you know, back in November. I started my first mentee class.
So November of 2020.
November of 2020, the first mentee class. I just finished my mentorship, and I thought I was this badass trader, right? I was making stupid amount of money. I was, you know, trading futures. I was like, you know, making 80, 100K days. So the thing is that I was taking in mentees, but I had no skills in education, right? And you know, it was like, you know, I didn't know this at the time.
You have the knowledge, but I
have the knowledge, but I don't know how to like speak it out to people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it was like deemed for failure, because it was like I had no teaching abilities. I had, you know, I could show you, you know, I could show you this and that. I just created a course. Yeah, look at the course, but you know, having the people interactive and this and that, I was making all this money, but at the end of the day, it was like, you know, the cost basis was that I wasn't profiting as much in the stock market, but I was putting my emphasis with the mentees. So what I had to do at the time was, you know, I had to reach out to a mentor had the teaching capacities that I needed to learn from someone that was an actual teacher. From there, you know, my first mentee class, you know, they worked with me. That first mentee class, I consider all of them my family. If you guys are watching this, you guys are my family now.
That's right, man.
I'm very proud of you guys. You guys all started your own trading groups. You guys started your food trucks, barbershops, e-commerce stores. You guys did all sorts, and I'm really proud of every single one of you guys. You guys did some, you know, some real damage. So, you know, we were all able to learn together, and, you know, that information, you know, from my second mentee and my third mentee class, I was able to integrate. Now the mentorship program consists of, you know, me, Quincy, and Tony, where we all show you all different level sets of skill sets. And that's why I place a very important emphasis on mentorships, because I invested into a mentorship, into a teacher, because that gave me the capacities to be able to teach. And again, you know, then I said, okay, I'm still lacking something, right? Communication skills. So then again, I had to reach out to a mentor that helped me with my communication skills. And, you know, like I needed to learn how to communicate better, how to, you know, I have all this information in my head, but how do I communicate it to people? I'm so sorry. But like, how do I communicate it to people? How do I get this outreach? How do I outreach this to the public? And again, you know, I had to get, you know, some communication classes, some communication.
Yeah. I see the excitement, bro.
Yeah, because I mean, it was all learning phases, right? All this happened in 2 years, right? Okay. I went into like, you know, a business venture. First business venture I ever went in 100K. You know, that was my whole life savings. I, you know, saved from working, you know, bartender jobs, working odd part times, and, you know, still going to college, right? Yeah. And like at the end of the day, I didn't get financial aid like most of my colleagues, or my you know, my classmates. But I had to pay my way through college, saved 100K. Ended up doing this business where, you know, someone I, you know, deemed a good friend of mine, he didn't put in. So this is where I tell you guys that motivation is a big factor, right? Yeah. His motivation wasn't there, because at the end of the day, I provided him all of the resources to create a business. But because all he had to put was his time, he wasn't losing as much as me. Yeah, time is an important factor, but at the end of the day, he wasn't risking 100K. He wasn't risking the resources I was giving him at the time. So that was just deemed for failure, and I learned a lot from that. So during these past 2 years, I've learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about people. I've learned a lot about, you know, there's been a variety of factors that have been able to contribute to, you know, my own personal growth.
That's good, man. So a lot what I hear right there was talking about failure, right? Willing to jump in, and you have your life savings, 100 grand, right? Yeah. Boom, you failed. And then you start off with 2500.
That's a lot of money, you know, at the time. It was a lot of money, 100 grand, I mean, like, bro, you know, and then the year after I was sweating because I just lost 200 grand. I'm down 300 grand. My whole body's sweating now. You know, paid half a mortgage on, you know, a house I could have, you know, retired in, or had no payment on a house. But what
I like about that, man, is that you're willing to overcommit and then really figure out the rest later, right?
And I actually had a business partner that actually told me this. Like for a lot of times, a lot of people, you know, categorize me as a liar, right? It's not. Then, you know, he told me, Gus, it's not that you're a liar. It's that you believe in yourself so much that you actually do it. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. Because I mean, you're not a liar. You just believe in yourself too much. And I do believe in myself. And if I say I'm going to do something, I end up doing it, but at my own pace. I don't let anyone pressure me because at the end of the day, I've been in the position I'm in because of the pace I'm moving at. A lot of people might think that I'm a slowpoke or that, that I'm a lagger, like, again, all these sorts of comments. But, I look at, where I'm at now and I look at where they're at now. So it's like, and no hard feelings, but I work to be here. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I do believe in myself so much. And that's what I want to tell a lot of people. If you believe in yourself so much, a lot of people might, take that as negative, that you're a lagger, you're not coming through. But at the end of the day, I do come through, but at my own pace. Yeah, I never let anyone pressure me.
I mean, 2 years, that's a pretty good pace to go from where you started to where you're at now.
And it wasn't easy, right? It wasn't easy. And I mean, there's been, there's been a lot of, hurdles. Like there's been a lot of blockages. There's been a lot of, obstacles during the road. And there's been a lot of pullbacks. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like there's been times that, other startup ventures that I did failed. And, I was like, bro, and he wasn't grateful. The first business partner I ever had. And, it's just, it was all I heard on it.
It was a good learning experience.
Absolutely.
Right?
It was a good learning experience. I learned, sometimes you're not going to get what you give out. So
yeah, absolutely. So let's go from the beginning. We talked about the $2,500. That was always a huge story that you went from 2,500 to what you have now. Right.
Yeah.
What was your mindset then compared to now?
Like the mindset I had now, like, okay, cool, let's go to dealer, buy a Lamborghini, like swipe the Amex, the Amex. That was the mentality I had. But now, looking at it, it's like it's not about the cars. It's not about, the lifestyle. It's not about the where you live. It's about how you feel inside and what you give out, right? Like I'm still not even close to where I want to be at, right? I'm invested in e-commerce. I'm invested in stocks. I'm invested in e-commerce. I'm invested in space industry. And I have a non-disclosure in this startup that I'm invested heavily, but I just can't disclose it as of right now. But it's just to be in all these these are all multi-million, industries.
Yep.
But to be in these, I had to put my foot in the door somehow.
Yep.
So it's just, it's just been trial. And yeah, stocks was the main factor that got my foot in the door in every single one of those industries.
Cool, man. Well, I see you're really passionate about it. I asked you like today, hey, because we're having a seminar, right? Yeah, next Wednesday. So October 27th. So if you guys are looking to get into that, I mean, that's going to be amazing, man. We're going to have people of all types of industries speaking. Yeah. So I see the passion coming from you, right? I asked you a question and you went on, man. Like I could even stop you when we were talking at the table earlier. So I see it. I love it. And so I know you really care for people. So going back to, the lessons you learned, what's maybe the biggest lesson you've learned as becoming an entrepreneur?
So becoming an entrepreneur, one of the biggest lessons is never overcommit, right? Sometimes, if you overcommit, even if you could do the job, never overcommit. Just show your results speak for themselves. Okay. Right? Sometimes when you overcommit, it makes you look like a liar. And, sometimes I did overcommit. It made me look like a liar. I did complete the task, but at the end of the day, it left a lot of sour taste to a lot of people, a lot of partners. But at the end of the day, and life lesson was that, how much work did they put out, right?
Gotcha.
Even though they had a sour taste in their mouth, how much work did they put out?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone expects you, and I give this message to everybody. Everyone expects you to, and if you're doing this, if you're doing a hustle, everyone's always going to expect more of you, right? But as long as you feel that you're working, and as long as you feel that, you're getting your job done and you're getting paid at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's always going to have a negative criticism against you.
Yep,
no matter what you do, no matter what you provide, everyone's always going to have a negative impact, negative criticism against you.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, as far as what I can see, and the numbers don't lie, right? You're successful. You're doing it. I mean, you're heavily invested in Bitcoin and, like we said, e-commerce and all this. What's your stance on Bitcoin? I really want to know that one, man.
My stance on e-commerce has always been a big believer, right? So it's funny, my brother was dealing with thousands and thousands of Bitcoins on a daily basis when he was 10 years old, right? This was, prior to Bitcoin was literally worth nothing at this point. It was literally worth cents. It was worth probably in dollar amounts. I would have to ask my brother. But my brother used to play this game called RuneScape and World of Warcraft. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
So what my brother used to do is, program these bots on RuneScape. It's against, I'm sorry, Anthony, for putting you on the spot, but it's against, the game's, guidelines, right? Okay. So he would do thousands and thousands, a lot of people, there was a high demand to Asian markets for, getting these high level skill sets accounts or getting these, monetary value on the accounts. So my brother he couldn't transfer USD. There wasn't, like Zoom or this app, so do the money exchange is quick. So they were sending him Bitcoin, and he was just like, cool, like, I sell it here, they pay me back in USD. So he was dealing, like, at one point he had 1,000 Bitcoins, like, he was dealing with a lot of Bitcoins, but at the time he had no idea of what it was going to be. So if you're seeing this message, like, don't get discouraged, right? If you're not in Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be the opportunity. This new era is going to present a lot of opportunities. My brother, might kick himself in the ass because he didn't keep at least, he sold 20% of that Bitcoin, but at the time it was worth nothing, right? There was no hype, there was no direction. It's like, you're holding on to, like, it's something, an antique that's going to be worth in a substantial amount of value. He didn't know what it was. He was a kid at the time, he might feel bad that he actually had that amount of Bitcoin at one point.
Yeah.
But again, it was worthless at the time.
Wow.
And even though it could have, if he would have held even 20% of that, he would have been in a very good position, right? But I mean, we have a joint, crypto accounts. This is a really good position, which again, we've been able to build together because, my brother's my best friend. He's one of my, he's my business partner in everything I do.
Yeah, you trust
him.
Yeah,
and I trust him. He's my right hand. So like, so we make all these moves together, and at the end of the day, like, bro, don't kick your ass. Like we're, like never, like, I hear this all the time. I should have bought Cardano at 27 cents. Yep. I should have bought Bitcoin at 10K. But yeah, you should have, but you didn't. So get over it. And now just move forward. There's always going to be opportunities in the market.
Yeah,
like you probably didn't even have an education in regards to the subject.
Yeah,
absolutely. So don't kick your ass just because you're not in it.
Where do you see it going?
So I see Bitcoin rallying to 100K towards the end of the year, but I'm a big believer in Cardano as well. I have $500,000 in Cardano. Wow. It's just very, very, there's been no news. Again, these positions are, greatly impacted by news, but I really do like Cardano. In November, they do have their environmental summit. And so it's going to talk about, how a lot of these Bitcoin and they have a huge impact on the environment, and Cardano is more sustainable. If you do a little bit of research of what South Africa is doing with Cardano, you get kind of a guidance of where I'm going.
Okay. Hey, towards. Write that one down. I'm going to write that one down and check it out.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Cardano, I mean, big believer on the cryptocurrency, has a really good support area at $2. Definitely, if you guys see pullbacks at $2, definitely recommend you guys to buy.
Great.
And again, it's not financial advice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just for legal stuff, right? So we talked about real estate and stocks at the same time. I did see in some of your posts, and let me know if you want to talk about this, but you were selling some of your properties, right? That you had.
So essentially, me and my partner, Drew, we essentially just so he has a lot of expertise in the wholesale industry, right?
Yep.
So he does a lot of he gets all these properties for like cheap, or he has this cold call center where we pick up these properties for a very low rate, right? So I come in as the investor, we pick them up, and then we rehab them a bit, and then we resell them. Yeah. And nice like you've been doing business with my dad, and I actually met Robert through my dad, right? But
we'll tell him that story.
Yeah, we'll tell you guys that story later, right? It's a pretty funny story, right?
That's crazy.
But with Robert, he's worked with my dad in real estate, but like sometimes me and my dad, we have different ideas, so we sometimes don't work together. Because I mean, my dad has that old mentality that, he's a hard worker, built his company from the ground up, and I'm, traditional that I'm taking advantage of digital. Yeah, he did get me going, right?
Yeah, right.
I do talk about me losing 100K, my first venture. My dad did help me out a lot with that.
Nice.
Again, I was always working with him, right? And that's why I come to the idea that, we used to live in an era that, hard work was always, positively criticized, but now you got to work smart, right? Yeah. So at the age of 11, I would, go out with my dad. He took advantage of the 2008 crash in the markets, right? And he bought a lot of real estate. He refinanced the house, caused a lot of tension at home. He sold his property he had in Texas, and he was just buying houses for dirt cheap. In San Bernardino, California, which is here in Southern California. He was buying properties for $30,000, $50,000.
Was he going to the auctions?
And he was not going to the auction. He was just buying he was buying up all the foreclosures. He, partnered up with some real estate agent called Mike Novak. And, they were just literally buying up everything in the Inland Empire and flipping it. And at the time, I was dragged on because remember, from age 11 to age 18, I had no pay. And I was every, morning, well, when it was in school, right?
Yeah.
I would go every morning with my dad, rehab properties. I know how to put drywall. I know how to fix electrical. I know like all this stuff.
So what did that teach you, bro?
It taught me that, hard work is, does pay, right? Because, my dad's gift was 2 properties he gave me. Again, these properties, $60,000 for 8 years worth of work, like you do the math, right? But again, that's another thing, but again, it put me in a good spot.
Character.
Exactly. Cause I was able to, to get hard money against those properties and, start my first venture. But again, it was working hard, and my dad did come from nothing. He was an immigrant. He literally came with $0 in his pocket. And so everything he built was,
Where's he from?
He's from Mexico.
Okay.
He's from Zacatecas, Mexico. And I mean, literally everything he built was based on his sweat. But, I look at him and I'm like, dad, like, sell 3 properties, like throw it in Bitcoin. Trust me. He's like, nah, man, these 3 properties generate me $8,000 a month in cash flowing properties. Right. Like that's literally what he tells me. And so, yeah.
Good, man. Well, I'm glad you brought that story up. I actually met your dad at T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you remember that, bro. I mean, you were buying your first iPhone at the time?
Yeah, so I mean, he was buying me an iPhone again. He wasn't paying me, so I don't think I was a privilege or anything. He had to buy me an iPhone, right? I was working for him for free at the time.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, he was buying me an iPhone, and Robert was actually, working at T-Mobile at the time, right?
I was a salesman, man.
Yeah, exactly. We were probably like 17. I was probably like 15 or something, or 14,
It was dope,
and, my dad was buying me my first iPhone, and Robert, of course, was salesman, and Robert and my dad really like Robert, like, this guy, like, he's awesome, but he sold me this iPhone, like you got to be like Robert, like, he's badass, he's starting his own business, man. This and that. And so, like, so my dad was like, you got to be like him. I'm like, dude, I'm 13, bro. Like, what do you expect? And like, bro, I'm already, killing my ass putting drywall up for you. Right.
And you're here not even buying me a case right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't even buy me a case, bro. Crack this phone, man. You're making me pay for it.
That's funny, man.
So, yeah,
I love that story, bro. When you told Jaime about that, I was like, I can't believe this guy remembers that.
Yeah, no,
that's insane.
I have very good memory. I remember a lot of events in my life. And, it's kind of like, I'm a very big believer that history always repeats itself. And
absolutely,
I apply that to the stock market. Every trend, every, position I get into, everything I analyze, I base it off history or what movements made in the past. So very big believer in that. And, definitely a big believer in history repeats itself.
Good, man. Well, I'm glad you were able to share a lot of your story, man, and what you're doing right now. I really, really love the passion that you have about, training your mentees and helping them succeed, because that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
The more people you help, the more you're going to receive. It's not why you do it, but it's just like, it's a principle, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So I do see the passion. I do see the love for it, man. Before we close out, anything else you would want to share with the audience, just to say, hey, maybe encouragement, some inspiration?
I mean, I want to share that, a lot of times, you look at these Instagram gurus and you categorize them as scam. Not everything you see on Instagram is real life, right? A lot of times you have to question, their ability and, what backs them up, right? So one of the messages I want to bring out to you guys is that don't be scared to invest in a mentor, but do your due diligence and your research first, right? I personally, love mentorships because it kind of like, sometimes, I spent over $100,000 in mentorships, right? But some of the mentors weren't as good. I just wanted to tap into the network.
Good.
So I just wanted to tap into their resources. I wanted to tap into their connections.
Good.
That's literally all I wanted to do. And, it kind of and it did work because it helped me get into circles that I never imagined I could get into.
Industries.
Exactly. And so I'm a big believer in that. And I recommend a lot of you guys to, if you guys want to invest into high level skills, and I've had mentees that, are 20, 21 years old and they tell me like, yo, Gus, like, bro, this is the best thing I could have done, invested into myself. My parents thought I was crazy for, ditching college, but look, like, I'm in a position where I'm making like $300 to $500 now in the stock market passively, right? They started with that $1,000 accounts on average. Most of my mentees leave with $3,000 account, right? They may make back their mentorship money, but at the end of the game, that's all education that they learn, right?
Yeah, and they can take that with them.
They can take that with them. No one can take away your knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. Like on average, statistically speaking, each new trader loses about $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
But investing into the correct mentor prevents you losing that, right?
Yeah, because they've already gone through it.
Absolutely, they've gone through it, and the access to risk management. Like I'm gonna give you a perfect example. If you have $1,000, why are you risking $1,000 on one play, right? That's nuts. Like, yeah, it could probably, you got 100, you could flip it to $2,000, but that's nuts, right? You have to have some sense of risk management.
When to cut your losses and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, good, bro. Where can people find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, it's my personal page, The Wall Street Goat, or the Options on Wall Street Instagram. That's where you guys can find us, or any of our community. We have an awesome community. You can find all of our admin team and our moderators on our Discord channel. And if you guys want to try us out or anything, send us a DM on the Options on Wall Street brand, and we'll get one of our
absolutely.
One of our members to reach out.
If you guys are looking to join the Discord, like you said, the group, it's available for you. If you guys have any questions, you guys reach out to me. I can connect you with Gus or one of his partners and get you guys going. So you guys can
absolutely
start producing some
let's get this
passive
going,
income.
Robert. And I'll see you on October 27th on a seminar.
Awesome.
We're creating these mastermind quarterly seminars, right? As we make these videos. We're in the initial of quarter 4. I want to make this quarter 4 a bang. So now I want to make it a tradition where every quarter we make a seminar mastermind where I bring these high enhanced individuals that have a knowledge of some sort that can help a community learn something that it was out of the reach for so long.
Yep.
Like, why didn't anyone teach me about option trading when I was in high school, right?
Yeah.
If I would have known how to place calls, I would have been, placing calls on all my favorite companies, and I would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Essentially, no one gave me, the education I had to learn, through trial and error.
Yeah, what I like about that, you got to go find it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to go find it.
Absolutely, you got to go and find it. And if you don't get it, no one else is going to get it for you.
And the seminar, that's going and finding it, going to the seminar, paying whatever the fee is. You're going to make your money back.
Yeah, so absolutely. So like the seminar is $150, but during the seminar you get a financial analyst. You get all my team that comes with the trading aspect, a real estate person, and we're gonna have an Airbnb host and a special guest. And a special guest, trust me, you guys are gonna be in for a surprise. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you for being on, brother.
No, absolutely, Robert.
And like I said, if you guys want some more information, reach out, man.
Thank you for having me, Robert. Thank you. You guys have a good one.